Hi, are you okay? I hope so. I have a quick story I want to share with you, and it's a kind-hearted and well-intentioned critique of Are You OK Day. The premise of Are You OK Day is that you don't need to be a professional in order to offer somebody help if they seem to be, a bit distressed or not themselves, or even just to check in with someone and see if they're okay. And it's a nice idea. But I had a really bad experience with Are You OK Day in 2019, which I'll tell you about in a moment. And the reason I had a bad experience with Are You OK Day in 2019 was because two really important things were overlooked. In order to effectively ask someone if they're okay and to actually provide some sort of safe place for them to talk with you, first of all, you need to have some kind of rapport with that person, and they also need to be able to trust you. So there needs to be trust as well. Two things. If those two things aren't there, it makes it really problematic and fraught. Those two things also form the bedrock of all counseling relationships. Okay, it's the first thing all counselors learn, and it's the first thing that comes up in the beginning, the early sessions. So while you don't need to be a pro to ask people if they're okay, the person that you're asking needs to be able to trust you, and you need to have some familiarity with them. Because if you don't, it can cause unwanted adverse effects. Okay, so my story, which this is the extremely short and sweet version of it. There's a longer version, which I might go into some other time. But in 2019, on Father's Day, actually, I went to see my dad, and he I'll have to go into this on another time, but he disowned me, all right, and told me to F off and to never see him again. And as I'm sure you can appreciate, that was really hard. This was after 18 years of being his only friend, because he was so mentally ill and completely against getting any sort of treatment. And I need to go into this in other videos because there's just too much to unpack. But long story short, he disowned me, and I went through the the predictable sort of emotions. It was horrible, and I felt like shit. It was probably the worst week of my life, or worst few months of my life, really. But this happened to coincide with one of the very first Are You OK days. So about a week after he disowned me, I was at my job, where I was relatively new at this place, and everyone was kind of just goofing off, asking each other, "Hey, are you okay? Oh, hey, are you okay? How's it going? You okay?" None of them cared. None of them knew me. We had no rapport. There was no trust. And without wanting to be too dramatic, it was one of the most alienating and lonely experiences that I've probably ever had. And it had the exact opposite effect. So yeah, three things. You have to be sincere, really be sincere. You got to have rapport and familiarity. And the person you're speaking to needs to trust you, and you need to be trustworthy. So if they tell you something really personal, that's for you and you only. Thanks.